This is part 2 of my last video talking about what I'm calling a dissociated type of attachment. This is really a state, and I would love for my friends here and those of you who are, really into this topic to share your thoughts, because as I'm working on a project, I really hate the discourse around fawning. I do. I think that there's all this research about, fawning is a type of appeasement, blah, 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 and I'm looking at all that. But what I really am trying to describe in many ways, there's an intentional appeasement, like a conscious appeasement, like I talked about June, knowing what she's doing but being compliant. But there could also be this sort of unconscious, unintentional, masked appeasement. And this is what I'm trying to get to. It's like, when I was in childhood, right, I had a parent, my mom, who I walked on eggshells with both of my parents. But not every single moment, all of the time, were they forcing me to, develop a strategy to deal with their anger and rage. There are times when, as I've called it, it's not the right words, good love and bad love, where my mom could be great, where I kept her in my life for almost 50 years because there were parts of her that I completely cut off from myself, the harmful parts. Now, when she would go off on me, I would hate her again. It would all come flooding back. But to stay in a relationship with her, we have to kind of cut off that part of ourselves. But there's also this part, that's why I think it's like a dissociation. It's a cut-off part, but there's a part where it's not like you're every moment in it, hypervigilant and watching them and when are they going to blow? Yes, you are doing that unconsciously. It's like the background viral check is running. Are they going to have the virus and blow at you? But there are these parts that feel good and connected or fun, like my mom and I going to Europe together and having a good time, or parts where she could be helpful. Now, I realized later that this was a way for her to maintain connection and not be abandoned, and even I don't believe she fully knew that she was doing that to the degree. I don't. But what I'm trying to get to is this description of when you're in what feels like the good love, it's almost like the bad love doesn't exist, but you know it does, because something like hugging my mom, I never wanted to do as an adult. She would say, why don't you hug me back? And it just felt like yucky, but I couldn't describe it even when we were having a great moment. And so I want to talk about this because I don't like the way that fawning gets presented as if it's some masterminding thing that we are doing. This is why I talk so much about hypervigilance, hypersensitivity, is that this becomes who we are. When you grow up in a nest where nothing is as it seems, where even the safe parent is never truly safe, you're always splitting off parts of yourself. And it's a survival technique. But I don't like the way it's being presented, because it truly has been about us trying to find a way to be loved and feel something without being completely ostracized and cast out. You know what I mean?